everyone, welcome back to the Band of Brothers podcast. I'm Elton, this is Andy.
Hello!
And we are here to review The Last Patrol. This is episode 7 of 10. 8 of 10. Damn it! I didn't make a mistake, never mind. Episode 8, so we're getting quite near the end now.
Well, funnily enough, one of the themes running through this episode is very much that sense of we're in the final stretch. The end is in sight.
Yeah.
And no one really wants to do anything to jeopardize themselves in this bit. You know, it's just like, let's just, keep on our fingers and toes in. We don't want to do anything stupid. And it kind of feels like that here as well. We're like, we can see the end from here.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. This is the lost episode, I class it as, because I know I've seen it many times, and yet it hasn't got that big oomph about it. It hasn't got the power of Bastogne or the previous one.
I mean, if this was a TV show, like a pure fictional thing, this would be a filler episode where they've blown their budget all on the big action set pieces on the last 2 episodes, and we're building up to the finale. So we just need a quiet episode to kind of settle everything. And I really do think you need this episode here, because in that very same way, we're going from the high action pieces from Bastogne and Breaking Point, and without getting ahead of ourselves, While We Fight is probably the hardest episode of the entire series, certainly the heaviest. So you kind of, it's not a light episode, this one, but at the same time, it's just kind of it's a self-contained, its own little thing, Yeah,
it's a breather, isn't it?
It is almost a chance to just catch a breath.
Yeah. But do you know what? Okay, your initial thoughts on this, even this time round, what are your thoughts on it, just overall?
I enjoy this episode. It does feel like, I mean, again, it's no surprise everyone knows I love science fiction and Star Trek. This feels like what would be called a bottle episode, which is when they would do an episode where it was only on the ship, only using the sets to save money. It feels like that. It's all in a single location. We've gone from, Breaking Point, which felt like it took place between from Crossroads to Breaking Point, and everything to do with Bastogne felt like probably 3-4 months.
Yeah.
This feels like a day, maybe 2. It feels like a much more condensed piece of time. And it does a very good job of letting you kind of, although we've been with Easy Company ourselves throughout all of this, it does a very good job of giving you that outside perspective looking in. It's like, I know these people. I know Sergeant Martin. I know Malarkey. I know all these people, but I don't recognize them in this episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're definitely looking at it through Webster's eyes here, and that sense of, I know you, but I don't recognize you. You can tell they've been through some shit. They've seen some things, man.
Yeah, familiar faces from unfamiliar angles.
Yes, definitely.
A little bit like Cobb as well, because he seems very obtuse compared to what he normally is.
Oh yeah, he seems very belligerent.
Yeah, bristly.
Yes.
But you can understand it compared to what he's been through.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you can do it with all of them. I mean, again, just coming off of the last episode, Breaking Point, and everything that happened in there, and coming through into this one, you can definitely do it. My only critique, if you will, and maybe this is just because we've actually gotten to this one relatively quickly, whereas normally there's like a month between us getting together to do this.
Yeah.
There's only a week in this instance. I remember the very end of Breaking Point, when we're on the trucks, being kind of an optimistic upward note, whereas this has kind of just gone all the way the other way, and that's just a little bit not disconcerting, but it's there's a disparity going on there.
Do you not think that would be them getting on the trucks, being happy to be leaving that place, and then having the realization of shit that went down just falling over them like a massive wet blanket?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know if that was the intention or how it's supposed to be coming across. It just it feels almost like there was something that happened between Breaking Point and this, almost. And I know it hasn't been. And if anything, this is how they should have been after Breaking Point. Again, you know, they have to treat these episodes as their own standalone thing to a certain extent, and you couldn't have let that last one end on a proper down note.
No.
Because, I mean, again, the last one ends with the church scene, doesn't it? It's a beautiful little piece. And it's kind of down, but optimistic as well. Whereas this one, again, the uniforms are just so... I mean, they physically look like they're wearing different uniforms to Webster.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you saying that, you said about through Webster's eyes. Now, maybe them leaving on the truck in the Breaking Point, from their point of view, they were happy to be leaving that and relieved. But from an outsider looking inwards, they might see what Webster sees this time round.
That's very true. Yeah, I can definitely see that as being an intention there. You know,
they would
that
be
might
happy,
be what they're doing.
Happy from their point of view, but on the outside, you still look fucked up.
Yeah. No, that's a very valid point and a way to look at it, and might well be the case.
Yeah.
I mean, even old Judge Dredd looks tired in this. You know, he doesn't have that same kind of robotic. I mean, maybe it's because we're seeing him without the helmet. Big mistake. You should never see a judge without his helmet.
Should never take the helmet off.
Never take the helmet off, Spears. I mean, the first time I saw this, and even this time, I didn't recognise him when he first walked in.
Yeah.
It's only when they refer to him as Captain Spears, it's like, gee, I've had to see him. Oh, wow, I didn't recognise you.
Oh, we know what happened to the last person who took their helmet off, don't we? Christ.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, from my point of view, I know I've just said this, but it's an easily forgettable episode, I think, until you're actually there. And then when you come away from it, you think, oh, do you know what? That was bloody good. That was bloody good. It's not my favourite episode, but do you know what? It bridges two episodes which are really heavy very, very well.
Oh, absolutely. Because, yeah, you couldn't go from the previous one into Why We Fight straight away. It's just no. You know, you'd just no.
Yeah. Don't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen that.
Not spoiling it,
Why
but
We Fight.
I'll give everyone fair warning. The next one is a heavy episode.
The next one is what Band of Brothers was made for, I feel. Kind of. Maybe that's a bit too strong, but it's their marquee episode.
But let us not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We will do a sum up at the end, I'm sure. But yeah. So talking heads then.
Yeah. Let's get the talking heads out the way. I'm starting to recognise people. I think I know at least 3 of these talking heads now.
Oh, okay.
I know they change, and there was a few faces that were new this time round.
Yeah, I definitely saw the new faces, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen you before.
But yeah, I know. I'm almost 100% certain of at least 2 of them. At least 2 of them. So
yeah,
but they're talking about just trying to be safe and how difficult it was after the Ardennes forest, trying to be safe as a group, and you get that gut feeling that you're actually going to live through the war. So, you know, watch your step, walk carefully, be careful, just don't make any sudden movements. And
it's everyone in this episode is a cop in a 1920s gangster film, one day away from retirement. They all are. It just feels like that.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. I've done my tour of duty. I've got one day left until I retire. You know, shit's gonna go down right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see it once again. You can see it in their eye. I think I've said that every single time, but you can just see it in their eyes. And I'm really looking forward to the reveal of who's there, who's not, as well.
You're gonna get a bit teary eyed, aren't you?
Do you know what? At the end of this episode, I was a little teary eyed. I'll hold my hands up. I don't know why. It was just big breath, sigh of relief that we actually got through another episode.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What's even worse, and again, I don't want to be kind of modelling and bring it down, but since this was filmed, I think most of these guys have passed away as well.
Really?
Yeah. There's not a lot of members of Easy Company still going, I think.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out who is still left. Because the years are rolling on, mate.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not.
You know, it's what, 75 years since D-Day coming up next? No, 2019 is 75 years since D-Day.
Right. Flipping hell. Wow. Okay. Let's move on with this episode because it's now the February the 9th, 1945. We are in Haguenau in France. And
yes.
The 101st since Bastogne and the Battle of the Bulge, they're pulled back to Haguenau. And the media have started calling these the battered bastards of Bastogne.
Yes.
Which is kind of catchy, and yet I don't think that would make a title in nowadays papers. No,
certainly not. And again, not entirely sure if it's complimentary.
It doesn't sound like it, does it? It's like, oh, well, our boys took one hell of a beating type thing.
Yeah. The battered bastards. But, yeah. But as they say, it was Bastogne which gave Easy Company their legendary status. You know, this was what made them stand out from all the other companies from Able through India.
Yeah.
So yeah. And again, we're kind of seeing Easy Company for the first time since Holland through Webster's eyes.
Yeah, so Webster's the main guy that we're going to be following around, isn't he?
Yes, played by not Paul Rudd.
Okay. Okay. And, Jones as well.
Played by not Tom Hanks.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Excellent stuff. So we're going to
just so we're clear, Lieutenant Jones, or Lieutenant Jones, because I refuse to call him Lieutenant, because I'm British. Lieutenant is played by Colin Hanks, Tom's son, and
is it?
It is.
I didn't know that.
That's why I said not Tom Hanks.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to pull up a picture of him just to see the resemblance. I'm going to see it now.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And Webster's played by Ian Bailey, who, look, I swear, every time I look at him, I just think it's Paul Rudd.
I can see that, yeah. I can see that. Okay, so, this first act of this episode, it's basically introducing us to Colin Hanks, Jones, and Webster. And Webster's rejoining Easy Company. He was there on D-Day.
He was there on D-Day, although he wasn't part of Easy Company on D-Day. He was part of Fox Company.
Yeah.
But he served through Normandy. He was a veteran there. And he was a veteran throughout Holland and Market Garden.
Yeah.
And he was wounded in Holland and then sent back to a hospital for rehabilitation and is back now.
So he got injured. I'm trying to remember if we saw him get injured. I'm sure we did. Wasn't he one that got... No, okay. When am I thinking of? You know when they did the Crossroads?
Yeah.
Was he injured there?
Yeah, he got a leg wound in a machine gun then.
There, okay.
Yeah, that was in Crossroads, yeah.
Okay, so I am thinking correctly. Okay, cool. So he's been injured all that time. He's joining Easy Company again, or trying to join Easy Company again. He's got the smile on his face. He's got the freshly pressed uniform. He looks so clean. And all the rest of them are just covered in miles worth of crap, aren't they?
Well, they literally look like they're wearing different uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. They look soaking. They look soaked in their own sweat. They're caked in it, aren't they? And you can just see it on their faces.
I'm pretty sure those uniforms would stand up on their own.
Yeah. I think they would. But from Webster's point of view, he's just happy to see familiar faces. He's joining his men again, or what he thought were his men.
Well, he's getting back to see his mates and everything like that. And again, he, like he said, he's a veteran of Normandy. He's been with the 501st since it was incepted, basically. So he would have been he would have gone through Curragh and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been with the battalion since
its formation.
Since its formation, yeah. But because he missed Bastogne, he's largely being ostracized and is being treated as a replacement. He's effectively back to square one. And a lot of this is kind of, we saw throughout the last 3 episodes, people running away from the hospitals to get back to it. And you can see now that if you didn't do that, there's a sense of, well, you didn't care enough to get back.
Yeah.
It just seems that, you chose not to come. And so there's a certain amount of resentment to that. Again, all these guys, though, have literally been through hell. I mean, there's a reason why they're the battered bastards of Bastogne,
Yeah. No, that's right. That they have been battered beyond recognition, haven't they? They've lost so many of their mates as well. And it is quite telling when he is asking the guys, where's this person? Where's gonorrhea? Where's this person? Where's that person? And they're just looking at them, just blank faces as if, well, if you were there, you'd know.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, hell, he'd previously been in first platoon. He comes back, and the lieutenant in charge of first platoon now, who's totally not Lee Adama, Lieutenant Jack Foley, doesn't know who he is. And so when he tries to rejoin, he's just like, no, go see second platoon or something. I don't want you here.
Yeah.
And then, you get back to second platoon, and again, there's who's it you recognise? Is it Malarkey?
Well, Malarkey's their lieutenant, isn't he?
No, he's a sergeant. He's their sergeant.
I think they were going to be making him up to.
No, they were winding him up about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he walks in and shakes his hands about his promotion, doesn't he? He's like, I don't know anything about that. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, he got me there as well then. Yeah.
But yeah, again, they're looking at Webster as in, even the ones who recognise him, kind of don't really want to give him the time of day. He's potentially even worse in their eyes than the actual replacements, because they say, well, look, if Joe Troyer and all these other people could have gotten out of the hospital and made it back to us, why didn't you?
Yeah, do you know what? That is a good point, because the replacements are just coming in as replacements.
Yeah.
They had no starting position and then tagged off the field and then came back on. Whereas he has, and he's been looking at all the nurses and doing all that stuff. It's as if he's been dragging his feet to get back, which any normal person who's not in the military would be like, okay, I get why you're doing it. It's not the best, but do you know what? I get it. And yet he's still ostracized for doing it as well by the people that have gone through that crap.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, we know that deep down, they're not really mad at him. They're mad at the situation, but that's the outlet they're going to take. And it's, how dare you not have suffered through what I have suffered through?
Yeah. Yeah. You dodged it.
Yeah.
Basically. You got a
you
sick
bastard.
note.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, yeah. Okay. So we're watching Webster try and reintegrate with these guys as well. We've also got Jones, who's coming in for the first time. They say he's fresh out of West Point.
He's fucking 12 years old.
He is, isn't he?
He's fucking 12 years old.
He's never shaved. He's never shaved. Some of these guys, they got socks and guns that are older than him.
Yeah.
And he's just coming in all fresh, and once again, everything's pressed nicely and really nicely and clean, and bags are nice. Never even touched the ground.
Well, I mean, the thing with him as well is he graduated from West Point on the 6th of June, 1944. He graduated on D-Day.
Yeah. I love that from Nixon as well when he
bumps.
Yeah. His laugh is just brilliant. It speaks so much.
Yeah, because I don't think Nixon's shaved since D-Day.
It doesn't seem like it, no.
So his beard is older than him.
Oh dear. Yeah, his beard has seen more action than him. Wow.
Yeah.
But we've got Lipton on there as well, haven't we? He's suffering from pneumonia.
Yeah, he's a bit under the weather, a bit of man flu going on there.
Yeah. His illness is seen more action as well. We can say this about everything.
The point is that not Tom Hanks. What's his name again? I've completely forgotten. Jones. Yeah, Jones is to say Green is to give Green a disservice.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, what was his name? Dyke. Would Dyke have followed this sort of way up among the ranks? Is that what Dyke was trying to do? I
don't know, because Dyke was he was put there by someone who says he needed combat experience.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't think Dyke actually wanted to see combat. He was told he had to. Whereas this guy legitimately seems like he wants to. Or at the very least, he wants to earn the respect of the men.
Yeah, straight away as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's painfully aware of how young he's going to look.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose coming in from that and what he's heard about what they've just been through as well, and seeing the end in sight, because there's lots of rumours going around that the war's going to be over by Christmas, because they always say by Christmas. And from our perspective, we know exactly when that's going to be. But maybe chomping at the bit to get a bit of action under his belt to say, yeah, I've done my part, I've done a little bit, and he's there putting himself out straight away before everyone else, isn't he?
He doesn't strike me as one of those sort of guys, because we also get that private who comes up later on. I can't remember his name.
Jackson.
Who wants to go on a patrol. Jackson, yeah. That's it, Jackson.
Oh, no, Jackson already went on the patrol. The guy doing all the pencil pushing and the mail.
Yeah,
I can't remember who that is.
But he kind of runs up and is like, I really want to go on this just so I can say I've done something. He reminds me of, you've seen Men of Spell, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when the guy goes, I got to kill a goddamn Nazi.
Yeah.
And then he accidentally kills the rookies. But it's that sort of thing. It's like, I've got to show that I've done something. I don't get that impression with Jones. With him, I think it was much more I want to prove to the men I can do this. I want to earn their respect, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the impression I get with him. He doesn't seem gung-ho.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. He wants he's willing to learn, willing to put himself in that position to learn as well.
I mean, he looks naive as fuck, and he looks like every. I mean, again, if you think to, okay, we're bouncing around films all over the shop here, but you think to Aliens and Gorman in that, and it's like, how many drops have you done? 6, 17 simulated, 2 actual, including this one, But this guy, at least, he's willing, he has enough presence about himself to know how he must look to these guys. These, even now, Easy Company is legendary, and he's walking into that, and it's just like, okay, I'm literally around Spartans almost. These are men of legend, and I have to show that I'm worthy to stand in their presence.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the other thing. He seems to show respect to the sergeants and even the enlisted, all the enlisted men, because of their experience. He doesn't have that arrogance. He doesn't talk down to anyone.
He doesn't. No,
he's very receptive. And okay, maybe that's a sign he doesn't have command presence, and as a sign of his, lack of experience. But I also think a lot of it comes back to the fact that, again, these guys have seen more combat than he's ever going to see, and he probably knows that. So
yeah, and he doesn't abuse them or anything like that. He's not rude to them. He's very respectful. He doesn't take them for granted either.
No, when one of these guys says something to him, he listens to them and he takes it on. So
yeah, but he also realizes at some point when I think he's speaking to Malarkey, and he asked me, introduce me to the guys. And he's like, well, the guys are here. The guys are downstairs. That's it.
Yeah.
But anyone else, let's say Dyke would, okay, well, bring the men up here. Sort it out for me. Bring them forth. Bring them to my feet. Whereas he's not like that.
Dyke wouldn't want to meet the men. He'd have to go to the CP.
Yeah. I got to make a phone call.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we're introduced to these guys. We know what sort of situation they're in. I love the way that Winters is with Jones as well. The first time he meets him, and it's just, I want to put myself forward for going on this patrol, and he doesn't even acknowledge it. He doesn't even waste his time in answering no, because the answer is clearly no anyway, just by the look in his eyes.
Well, I think with Winters, with this guy, he probably thinks this guy is a glory seeker. He wants to go and have a crack at the Nazis and do all this sort of stuff. And then later on, when he explains the reason he wants to do it, I mean, okay, there's a certain amount of him want to do it, but he wants to give Malarkey a break.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're not going to be in charge, but you can go along,
Yeah, well, it shows that he has thought behind his reasons for going there, doesn't he? Because everyone can see how strung out Malarkey is, and all the other guys as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because
wow, I'm so tight they're going to snap.
Well, yeah, imagine having to drop that information that, okay, right, you got roofs over your head, you got hot food in your bellies, and yet you got to go do another patrol, another mission, which you may very well not come back from through a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
Because you can see your objective over there. And we should just mention where we are actually situated. We're on edge of a river, and the Germans on the other side of the river, and they know that the war is coming to a close, and they're in exactly the same sort of situation. They don't want to do anything stupid, as well as our heroes on our side of the bank don't want to do anything stupid. You can see the enemy. Every now and again they drop over a mortar or 3, and that is about it. You hear a little of live fire, but we're really condensed into this little town, really, aren't we?
Yeah, it's it almost looks like it's a set out for a sitcom. So Allies on one side of the river, the Germans on the other. So crazy neighbours, the town's going to hell.
Yeah, well, I do want to come back on that a little bit, because it does feel you are. It does feel like you're on EastEnders or something. It's very set orientated, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't really remove that from the screen unless you do a lot of filtering and then make it feel like it is all cinematography. But I don't know. So we know where we are. We're going to be spending the whole episode here and pretty much looking across the river most of that time. So where do we go from here? Webster and Jones have been introduced to the guys. They also pass on the message that they have to have a patrol. And there's 3 guys, and there's Heffron, Ramirez, and McGlung?
I think so.
I'm just trying to go through
for your notes.
Yeah, trying to go through my notes, but it's it's written by some doctor, I think. I don't know who did it. But yeah, they've been asked to go. That scene where they're moving across the road and they're ducking behind every single sandbag that they have.
Yeah, even though it's kind of safe ground, if you will.
Yeah,
but they're still within line of sight of the Germans.
Yeah,
and when they get a bead on you or something like that, they still open up.
Do you know what? I would have thought just keep moving would have been the best option instead of ducking down and seeing, because you do have soldiers in the background as well, just walking down the street.
It's kind of a funny thing, isn't it? Because they're doing this kind of running for cover everywhere, and they're just like walking casually down, minding their own business.
Yeah, shows you how green they are.
Oh God, yeah.
Have we had the mortars and Webster jump into the ground as well?
That was in this bit, wasn't it? Oh no, when he ran to the ground was just after he arrived, before he went to sea with Lipton. But then in this bit, who does it he bumps into with potatoes?
King.
Yeah, King and
Christensen. I think it was Michael Fassbender, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's Fassbender. That's the bit. Yeah, and they've got potatoes because they do, and then they get shelled again, and they have to kind of run to the safe. We're safe here. This is the safe house. You can't get us here. We're safe.
Yeah. Even though that does get hit later on. Yeah, that does get hit later on. So, yeah, it's just the movement. I was stunned by when you stop and speak to other guys, because the guys with the potatoes, King and Christensen, coming out of the building with their potatoes, and they're just standing up, all blasé compared to these 2 guys.
Yeah.
And it is the greenness of these who haven't been out in the combat, whereas a gunshot, they can probably turn around and go, well, yeah, it's not in my direction, it's nowhere near me, I know exactly what's going on, don't worry about it, guys. And I think when they're crouching down behind some of these sandbags, there is a shot fired, and the soldiers in the background do duck down, form their positions, and then move on. So everyone's used to it, apart from these 2 guys. And so they're doing all their military training of, throw their equipment over the banisters and climb over there. And, we had mortar fire on the way in. And when he's telling that to Malarkey, and Malarkey just looks at him going, yeah, so what?
Yeah, that's what happens when you walk down the street here.
Well, his look on his face when when Jones turns around and says, "Yeah, we took some mortar fire," you know exactly that we're going back to the breaking point where no, that was mortar fire. The stuff in the street, that's just pebbles.
Yeah.
And so, no, you haven't experienced mortar fire. You think you experienced mortar fire? No, you should have been here 2 weeks ago.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Exactly.
But yeah, they get in there. And because he's been in the CP and he knows the details of the mission, they're all bugging him for them. And he's like, no, don't worry, I won't tell you anything. And he's like, okay, if I tell you, you got to promise not to tell him. And he's like, okay, fine, we'll do that. So he tells them who's going on the mission. And then Malarkey comes out to tell them. They go, yeah, we already heard. Webster told us. It's just like, motherfucker.
Well, dropping the new guy in it. And
Pretty much, yeah.
like we've said, he is classified as new guy, isn't he?
Yep.
He is the new guy. So there is a scene with the showers as well. I know they come out the showers. That's where Bill King gets killed, rustling his potatoes.
Euphemism.
Yeah. And we have the shower scene where you see Malarkey, and it's...
Sorry, that just sounds really wrong. And there's the shower scene.
Well, there was a bit of a shower. There was side bottom and everything. It's not like the normal HBO where you get ladies full frontal nudity and men. Oh, look, there's a kindly placed jug in the way of his penis. Very Austin Powers.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. But, yeah, you have your shower scene where all the guys are scrubbing down, and Malarkey, you can just see the weight of the world coming on his shoulders as he's having his shower. He's just like, oh, fucking hell, I haven't had a shower for weeks.
Yeah. And you can see how uncomfortable Webster and Jones feel about this, because, they've just effectively come from the hospital or wherever, and it's just like, yeah, I don't need a shower just now. I mean, neither.
Yeah, well, they probably had one, a day ago?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Let these other guys who need them have it.
Yeah, yeah. So then, I suppose we might as well just talk about the build-up to the actual mission itself.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, one thing that's kind of a thread going on throughout here is Webster's kind of... He's not trying to ingratiate himself, but he's playing the diplomat a lot. Mm-hmm. He's just trying to help everyone out. I don't know if it's a conscious decision on his, I want to get back in everyone's good books. I don't know if it's just how he is naturally or what the deal is here. But, he's very attentive, and he's very much, just trying to make everyone, he's helping Jones to get on the mission because he wants to, helping Malarkey get out of a mission because he obviously doesn't want to do it. Who is it? Is it Liebgott as well, where he kind of gets him out of doing the mission as well?
Well, that's one thing I wanted to question you about
okay.
Liebgott, because when Winters comes in, we have Sergeant Martin, who is Dexter Fletcher. He's running it, and Jones will be his visual aid. He's not second in command, but he's there going on just to watch what's going on. Yeah. And he's giving Webster, he's got real beef with Webster, isn't he, about this?
Yeah.
Real beef. And so when they come out of that operations room and they're talking about the mission that they're going to be having, Webster goes up to Winters and says, well, you don't need two translators on there. Do you need two translators on there? Should we... I wasn't too sure whether he was trying to get out of it and accidentally put himself up for it and Liebgott got taken off, or was that him actually trying to give Liebgott a pass on it?
I think it was him trying to give him a pass, right, because I think he is trying to ingratiate himself back into the company. Mm-hmm. I think, he was just trying to... again, he's been out of it for a while. He needs to prove to these guys that he still knows how to fight.
Yeah.
So I think there was a certain amount of that. I can definitely see how it was seen that way, potentially.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the case.
So what is the idea of this plan then? To get over the river and get some prisoners of war?
Yeah, they want them some German sausage.
they don't want the roast beefs coming over.
Yeah, something like that. No, they want some German prisoners to just question to see what's the what is the state of the German army on the other side of the river. Ideal numbers, what's their positions, how well armored are they? Just some general intel, basically.
Yeah.
Because again, this is really before the days of signals intelligence and stuff like that, and you can't really overfly that sort of a place because everyone's going to dive inside. You don't have thermal cameras, anything like that. So the only way you're really going to know is to go and ask someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, the plan is to just quickly hop across the river, knock on the door, steal yourself a couple of Germans, fuck back on over, and call it good.
Yeah.
Literally snatch and grab.
They hand out whistles as well, because as soon as you've got your guys and you're clear and on the boats on the way back, then your guys can open up and give you, hopefully, safe passage back.
Well, yeah, they got the entire battalion on standby. So the idea is when they're on the boats on the way back, the other side can just rake the other bank, and completely destroy it. The problem you have, if you call them before that, you're effectively in the line of fire.
Yeah.
Because although we could see, the idea is it would be pitch black. You know, it would be like black as black. So you're just literally just shooting across the bank.
Yeah. Because this was done on a full moon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, where I live out in the country now, you really can tell when there's a moon up. And it is so surprising on how much light you get from that full moon. Now, that might sound stupid, but coming from London, where you've always got street lights on, you don't realise how bright that moon is until you've experienced the darkness, should we say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can see why it's to your best advantage not to attack on a full moon, because it's like the sun. It is so, so bright. There are shadows everywhere, and yet you can see everything with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happens that this mission is being held on one of the full moons. Yeah,
you can definitely get the impression Winters is not a fan of this idea.
No. Well, we do get a little story that they had one patrol prior to this, at least one patrol prior to this. And one of the new lieutenants, which I think was Jones, he graduated with Jones. He shot his foot off. He trod on a mine, I think it was, ended up losing his foot. And I think that works out that it was the guy that graduated with Jones. And so I
don't think it was. I think they were just saying that being flippant, but
I thought I got the impression that it was him as well.
Well, no, they said, hey, maybe he graduated with you. And Jones just looks at them blankly. I think they were just kind of ripping into the whole West Point thing.
Okay.
Because I suppose in the terms of the US military, West Point's like Eton as a private school over here. It's that sense of, oh, la-di-da.
Oh, dearie me.
Yes, I say.
Oh, we've done that many times before already.
It's true.
But I do like it, you know. I do like it. So, okay, so should we get into the actual conflict itself?
Well, I suppose in the terms of what we've had recently, it's not really much of a conflict, isn't it? More of a skirmish.
Yeah.
It's again, the plan is really quite simple. They remove anything reflective or that's likely to make a noise. They're going in really light because again, they're literally just going maybe 200 yards from the other side. It's crossing some boats up the other bank into the nearest house. No helmets. Light fatigues effectively. Mm-hmm. They literally are traveling light. And they just bolt their way across there as quick as they can, cutting through the barbed wire and past the tin cans.
Yeah, noticed that.
And all that, and yeah.
But the way that they work as well, when they cut the wire and then went underneath and you saw the tin cans and it was just, tap on their leg to tell them when they're clear. It's just, I love that. It's all clockwork. They've done it many times before. It's their training coming out, isn't it? And
definitely, yeah.
That shot, it's all one camera shot as well, isn't it? From the moment they cut the cable, the razor wire, to the moment they get to the logs. It's all one shot.
I'll have to take your word on that. I wasn't paying that much attention to how it was shot, I must admit.
Yeah. No, it is all one shot.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, they get through, get there. And it's burst into the house with a couple of grenades through the window. Mm-hmm. And Jackson, who's the young kid we first saw in the truck at the beginning, his grenade kind of blows up in his face, doesn't it? Or when he gets in there, it kind of goes off.
Well, they shoot a couple of grenades via their gun in there.
Yeah.
And that's when Jackson just steams in. Then he throws his own grenade in there as well. And by the time he's opened the front door, his grenade goes off and catches him.
Yeah. And this might be the most cringeworthy wound in all of Band of Brothers for me.
Yeah. Worse than Garnier's leg.
Worse than Garnier's leg. Worse than the guy that got shot in the throat. Because it's when he's back at the other side and the skin's all gone white.
Oh, isn't that the sulfur that they've put on there, though?
I don't know what it is, but it's kind of terrifying. And it's also, I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but him literally crying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
As he dies. And given how young he is, it's the one which is really kind of makes me feel quite uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And again, really kind of helps bring home the horrors of war.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Maybe it's because there isn't. He's the only death in this episode that we know of. And so that has to be pinpointed. There has to be a certain flag put into this episode of, okay, instead of 20 people losing various arms and legs and disappearing, then this solitary death has to be noted, has to be something of remark.
Well, there is that again, because this isn't like one of the big battles. This isn't a huge thing. I mean, this is effectively just a snatch and grab, like we said.
Yeah.
For the men of Easy Company, for the battered bastards of Bastogne, this is nothing. And still, I mean, they reference it when King dies earlier. You know, some people die in heroic battles, others are killed carrying potatoes. It's war is hell.
Yes.
And yeah, I think again, this is all based on true events. So this isn't done for dramatic purposes, but they had to show there was a cost to this mission to kind of justify what happens later on, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. I don't know how to transition to what I want to say.
Well, just go steamroller straight through.
Okay, clunky gear change coming up. Yeah. Going back to the shots. There is a superb shot of once you're behind the wall of logs, just about to enter that building. It's all shot from crouching eye height, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you see your two teams go off either side of the building, and then you have this ominous building standing up in front of you as if shit about to go down, mate. It's really going to go crazy. But I think they're very effective in what they do. I think Martin's, he directs them very well. He has total command of these guys. He has total respect from the guys, and they respect him as well.
You almost get the idea that he's impatient with this mission. It's like, I can't believe we've got to go and do this.
Well, I can't blame him for feeling that.
Oh, I don't blame him at all. I'm just saying, but that's definitely the impression you get from him, isn't it? It's that sense of, I literally have better things to be doing than doing this right now.
Yeah. It may be a 10-minute, let's say 20-minute at the most, mission. But they've been thinking about this since they very first heard about this patrol happening. And so this is nearly 20 hours worth of in the build-up, isn't it?
Well, I also think a certain amount of it is something I think Malarkey says when they were back on the other side. They've got roofs over their heads. We've got roofs over ours. No one wants to do anything stupid at this stage.
Yeah.
They're literally waiting out the clock. They look, the writing's on the wall. They're a beaten army. I mean, at this point, they are defeated. It's literally just waiting for the corpse to die.
Yeah.
And no one wants to do anything to jeopardize their lives or their friends' lives at this point. And I mean, the worst thing ever is going to be someone who dies on the last day of a war, effectively.
Yes. Yeah.
And so being asked to put themselves into danger for what they see as little real return, it's like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
But information is power, isn't it? Especially in the throes of war and coming towards the end of the war. The more information you can get on your enemy, the better. And so that's why these patrols are put out there.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, their reasons for doing this are totally sound. For the Colonel, it's the difference between looking at the big picture and looking at the small picture.
Yeah. The
big picture, you need the intelligence. You need to know where you're planning, how things are going. You need that intelligence. But the small picture is like, fuck, I want to go and get a grenade blow up in my face.
Yeah.
Trying to snatch a pair of krauts.
Well, okay. On that subject, then. The boat that rolls at the very beginning when they're on their way over the river.
Uh-huh.
By the way, who put that rope over the river? That's a mystery.
Potentially
someone swam
it might have been from. No, maybe you shot it over.
Could have, yeah. Could have. But the first boat that rolls over their last boat. Do you think there could be a bit of sabotage? Maybe. Oh, fuck this, I ain't going over there. I ain't getting involved in this. Or do you think that was not intentional? Because I think once you're on a mission, that's it. You stick with your men, you stick with your mates, and you go through with the mission, whether you like it or not.
I think no one wants to get themselves killed, but the worst thing is getting your buddy killed.
Yeah.
So I don't see anyone there would be that selfish doing that. So I think that was just a thing that happened.
Just bad luck.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, coming back, they blow their whistles, don't they?
Well, they make a lot of noise and start making a run, and they've woken up the Germans and they're starting to open fire and chase them, but they can't blow their whistles until they're clear of the bank. Because again, otherwise they're going to get shot to pieces by their own guys.
Yeah.
And their own guys are there ready to fire, but they're waiting for the whistle to be blown before they'll do so.
Yeah.
I think one of the Germans gets wounded by the Germans shooting at them, so they just leave him there. So they take the other two.
Yeah, well, there were 3 in the building, weren't they? I think one of them got wounded with one of the grenades going in.
Yeah, I think so. I think though it was on the way out, they'd leave him basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, they get into the boats and start blowing the whistles, and then the entire battalion opens up. And yeah, I mean, they get back to the other side and rush to get Jackson to a medic.
Okay, this is another question I want to ask you about there. Why wasn't the medics ready? Surely, in a mission like this, you'd have an idea of what would happen if someone got hurt, or let's just say someone got hurt. You'd have a rendezvous point. You'd have a building where you go back to and collect your thoughts, or if you got an injured person, you bring them straight there, and you'd have medics on standby.
Mm-hmm.
And it baffled me as to why there wasn't someone like that ready and waiting.
Honestly, I don't know. I can only assume that he had somewhere else he had to be.
Yeah.
Potentially there's an aid station where other wounded are being tended to.
They're being fired upon as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. So maybe that's the case. But I would have thought, given we've seen the mortar fire coming down, there's probably an aid station further back from the lines, perhaps.
Yeah.
And, he'd be there tending to those wounded. And again, we don't know how many medics they have available to them there, but yeah, they had to, get him there in a hurry.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of opportunities of the Americans wanting to take out the Germans that they've just stolen. I think once in the boat, and then at least twice in the building that they return to.
Yeah, I think Cobb's the one saying, "I'm going to shoot the Germans," and Martin says, "You shoot the Germans, you've got to go back and get some more."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you're like, we know you want to kill them. We all know that, and yet you don't want it to be a waste of a journey, because then you're going to have to go do it all over again.
Yeah, and that's just not ideal.
No. Which is where Jones steps up as well.
Yes.
He calms many of the guys down, pulls their weapons away from them as well, and just shows them the realization of, you do this, you've got to go back there and get more. And I've got to go back there and get more as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing with Jones as well is, though, he didn't lead the mission, even though he was the ranking officer. He let Martin take the lead. And yeah, it was just really nice to see that. Normally when you have a lieutenant involved in one of these things, they take charge, even if they're inexperienced, and then the sergeant has to kind of push them along and get them to do a thing, kind of like what we saw with Dyke throughout his tenure as Easy Company. Whereas here it was nice that he was respectful, listened, learned, and when he had something to contribute, he did so.
Yeah. So we have the end of Jackson, don't we? Which is another powerful ending to a life. And he's so young, 20 years old, I think they said he was. Yeah,
they said he lied on his application and joined when he was 16.
Wow.
And you got the narration from Webster saying, I'm sure his parents received a telegram saying that he fought bravely against the enemy, whereas actually he died screaming and crying for his mother on a stretcher.
Wow.
And it's just the makeup they used on his face was really, really effective in making me feel really uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. It was all totally believable. I love it when the medic's in there, and as soon as he's attending him, it all goes deathly quiet.
Yeah.
Deathly quiet. All you can hear is Jackson breathing. And he's looking at his wounds and injuries and assessing what's going on. Wants to lift him out, and then as soon as they move him, that's it. It all goes pear-shaped. Which is, they do death good on here, don't they?
They make you feel everyone.
Yeah.
It's never really a throwaway thing, effectively.
No, which is, it's not the Expendables where, 40 people just died. Everyone has a story behind them, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Which just makes it ever more powerful, I feel.
Absolutely.
Ever more powerful. So after the patrol, you can still hear the German on the other side of the bank.
Yeah, the next morning, the one they had to leave behind, still screaming. Don't quite know why the Germans didn't go and rescue him, but I suppose they expect the Americans are going to shoot them if they go and try and get him. Which they probably would have.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think because it's so close to the end of the war, I think that mutual respect, like we've seen before, where the medic would attend the wounded, doesn't matter whose side you're on, you would attend the wounded. And I think the Americans would have respected their medic coming out and taking him back.
Oh, they would absolutely respect their medics. Absolutely. But I just think after, again, the Americans just snuck over and stole two of our guys.
Yeah.
What the hell, I thought we had a thing here. You don't mess with us, we don't mess with you. But yeah, they set charges to destroy that building because it's one less place the enemy can take shelter in.
Yep.
On that side. And Colonel Sink arrives, and he's very proud of the men. So proud of them, I want him to do it again. So I want more prisoners. We're going to do it. We're going to capture the entire German army 2 men at a time.
Yeah. Well, we're going to capture everyone over there in that town. The crazy guys, going to grab them all and bring them all over here. What the hell?
Yeah.
But I suppose Nixon said that he was bigging it up on the telephone to other people. Mm-hmm. And so, we did it once, we can do it again. And we'll get more information from these guys because these Germans sung like birds.
Yeah. It's, you can definitely feel the frustration that Winters and those guys must be feeling.
Mm.
It's like, okay, we did the impossible thing you wanted us to do. Now you want us to do the impossible thing when they know we've done it. And you want us to go further into the town. It's just like, it's almost like something out of Blackadder. You know, doing the exact same thing we've done 750 times is the last thing they'd expect us to do.
Yeah, it's too right. God, I need to watch Blackadder again.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe next year we'll do some Blackadder podcasts.
Only the World War One. Only the World War One. If we do, Captain Darling. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
I love that. Love it. Cobb is getting a cob on. He's drunk. Slating Webster, and what I love about it is Martin is sticking up for him as well because they've been through it now.
Well, Martin and Jones as well.
Yep.
Who and he doesn't do the whole "you will address me as sir" thing or anything like that. He's just like, watch your mouth, you know.
Well, yeah, he's got a bit of authority behind him there, hasn't he?
Yeah, because I think at this point he's proven to himself as well that he can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, Sinker's got this idea of going back over again then.
Mm-hmm.
Winters doesn't want to, but I love the way that he goes through this because he goes through the whole routine again because once again, we've got Winters back in a proper episode as well, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's been, not that he's been missing, but he's been sporadic through the episodes since he's been made up.
Mm-hmm.
But we get, he's almost fully in control of these missions as well. He's laying it out, what you guys are going to be doing. Here's the map. You're going to go here. This building has gone now. We've done that one, so we're going to be doing the next one. And he's laying it all out for the guys. And he's asking the questions, and he's not getting any no responses. He's not getting any, oh, for fuck's sake, from the guys. He's just getting stone cold silence, which is their acceptance of another mission.
Mm-hmm.
And which I love, because it shows all these guys, they're accepting the questions that are asked of them.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect. And then when he pulls that rabbit out of the bag where he's saying, okay, I want you guys to get a good night's sleep tonight. You can see the whole weight of everyone just lift. Even myself, I was sat there going, oh God, I know it's coming, but I'm still sat there going, oh God, they got to go again. And as soon as he says, yeah, you're not going over, you're like, oh, thank God.
Well, I don't think Winters himself decided he wasn't going to send the men across until that moment. I think it's literally he's there laying out a plan and realizing in his own mind just how absurd and stupid it is. And it's at that point he says, and just go to bed and just tell me the next day you did it.
Do you reckon?
I think so. That's kind of the impression I get from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because he is laying out the whole mission in front of him, isn't he? I suppose it's not the time for japes, really, is it?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I just feel that if he wasn't going to do it, he wouldn't have gone and laid out the missions and all that sort of stuff. I think he's laying it out as it's going to happen, and then he's just like, but no, I'm not going to make you guys do this. Fuck it. I'll just tell them you did it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because I think that's it, you know. He was like, okay, we'll try it once. When it was successful, it's like, okay, fine, it's done. When they turn around and say, oh, you were really good at this, let's do it again. Then he's like, no, I'm putting a pin in this right now.
I suppose Sinker's been doing that with Easy Company all the time, though, hasn't he? Because they've been so successful in every other mission that they've done. It's been, okay, well, send them guys to go do it because they've got it done.
Maybe to a certain extent. I mean, Sink doesn't strike me as a General Melcher type. You know, he's not going to ask the impossible. He respects the men and listens to them.
Yeah.
But I just think, you know, again, he maybe a little bit greedy. And I really think there's a certain amount of, at this stage in the war, Winters just doesn't want to risk the lives of these guys on what he views as something superfluous. It's like, okay, what are these other Germans going to tell us that two we already captured didn't or couldn't, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think he viewed it as a waste of men and material and was like, fuck it. We'll just tell him we tried and failed. And hopefully that'll be the end of it.
Right. Okay, so it's Nixon that writes up the report that the guys actually went over, from what I can work out.
I think so, yeah. I mean, Nixon's there during the briefing. He knows what is going on and presumably is fine with it. And again, it's just the way Winter says, in the morning you will report to me that you were unable to capture a German alive. As long as they've reported back to him, then as far as he's concerned, okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah, love it. I absolutely love it that happens.
Yeah.
I think it's just perfect what happens there, yeah. So, after all of this, everything calms down, doesn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, they're kind of... We're moving on, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. We're building up to the end now, aren't we?
Yes.
Lipton gets made second lieutenant.
Uh-huh.
Jones gets made up to first lieutenant.
Yep, and sent back to battalion.
Yep.
So well done him. And Webster's accepted once more as part of the company.
He certainly is, yeah.
Which is nice. Oh, and Winters is called up by Nixon for not being appropriately attired for his rank.
So, okay, so he gets given oak leaves, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's promoted to major.
Major. So, what does his attire mean now? Is it a totally different uniform that he'll be having?
No, it's literally just the insignia.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so he's Major Winters now.
Oh, yes.
Major Winters.
Winters.
I love the way that Nixon just tosses it over to him. Yeah, look, there you go. You got these now. Well done.
Yep.
Brilliant. Yeah, and as you say, Webster is brought back into the bosom of the company.
He's accepted once more. It's like, yes, you can sit at the call table now.
We've done the perfect full circle because we were driving into Hagenau,
mm-hmm.
and nobody would offer him a hand to get onto the truck. And as we're driving off, he gets given the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, there we go. Perfect circle. Thank you very much.
It's a little thing, but, it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of a sudden, it's easy company to be remembered. We now see them as we've known them. We the audience are also back in the fold at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I recognize these guys. And it kind of feels quite upbeat at the end, It's like, oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I think that's why I got a little dusty where I was watching it. But,
no, I can see that, yeah.
But also you have the black screen and the words that come up as well. We have, by the time, oh God, where is it? By the time they left Hagenau, Easy Company European campaign had taken them from England to France, Holland and Belgium. Soon they will be entering Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, chills down my spine.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, and that's where the music swells. I get oh my God, my guys. And yeah, it is a cracking episode. Overall, I flipping love it. I love the way that I don't remember it as well. It's always a nice reminder to get back onto this one. It's a sandbox episode, I feel.
Oh yeah, it's a self-contained thing. It's kind of a nice break from the last 3 episodes with the build up to Bastogne and everything going on around there. It's definitely needed. We needed this before we get into the stuff next week.
Yeah,
it's a nice little, perfectly poised little piece of television.
Yeah, although I am looking forward to next episode, I'm not looking forward to next episode.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you there.
That's going to be difficult. I might need some whiskey with me for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And to think I have to watch it a couple of times to take notes as well. Jesus. Okay. Well, we did have a tiny bit of feedback on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Band of Brothers podcast. And it is from Doreen Kelly. And she says, sorry about the lack of feedback last time. I've got some work at the moment and don't have the same time for feedback and stuff, which is fine. Look, this is not a job for you guys. It's not a job for us. It's all just, we're all watching it and rewatching it at the same time. We're all enjoying it at the same time. Don't feel like you need to feedback, but always welcome. It's always welcome from anyone.
Yes.
Anyway, she continues. Frankly, I got confused about what time I had to feedback. The last patrol was a hard watch. The occasional voiceover was very effective and it hit me right in the feels. Our hero's Winters was absolutely brilliant. He gave the second briefing to the second patrol with such a heavy heart. Then, when he couldn't take this senselessness of such orders anymore, he gave new and better ones. There we go.
Mm.
And that's all we had this time round. If you guys do have any feedback for the next episode, you can email it to us at rogue2media@gmail.com, or you can go to the Band of Brothers webpage on Facebook and you can leave it all in the comments there, where we will endeavour to read each and every one out. And we have been trying to do that as well. So, wow. So what an episode. What?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What a series, hey?
Oh man, even though this is many times me watching this series, I'm still thoroughly enjoying doing this and rewatching it. And I'm still going to be rewatching it in future as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's timeless, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. So next time out, what do we have next time out?
Next time out, we have Why We Fight. And as we've alluded to, it is probably the heaviest episode because this one is dealing with the Nazi concentration camps and the Holocaust directly.
Yeah.
So, fair warning, if you've never seen this before, just being straight up, there will be shocking, disturbing stuff in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to get angry.
Oh, yes.
You're going to get so angry.
You're going to get angry, you're going to get upset, you're going to go through a whole gambit of emotions.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who it's... I think it's focused on Nixon, isn't it, this next episode?
Yeah, this one's on Nixon, which I actually think Nixon's the only person it probably could have been done with.
Oh, okay.
Because I think you need to have that certain amount of detachment that you get with Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's, I mean, my memory of it is, as with all episodes of Band of Brothers, it's a very good episode, but it is the one that's like, might need to go out and have a bit of a walk afterwards, just, you know, a bit of fresh air.
Yeah, get some cartoons ready for it. So once you've seen this, put your cartoons on after, just to de-stress a little bit. Funny enough, this is the episode I've seen the most.
Ah.
And that is because whenever it was on TV, whether it be BBC or whenever it's been scheduled to be on the TV, for some reason I've always caught this episode. I don't know why. It's just been there, and it's pretty much always the same scene as well, where you are in the concentration camps, and what's going down there as well. So I'm, like I said before, I'm not looking forward to this, but I am looking forward to this. But and then once that's over, we got one episode left to go.
Yeah, we are. Again, we are definitely in the home stretch here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you got anything else to add to this one, or should we just leave these guys and plug our wares?
Oh, I think we've said almost all that needs to be said on it. Okay. It's as always, like you said, it's probably an episode which tends to get lost just because of what's either side of it.
Yeah, but well worth watching. nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. So, since this is a podcast, do you have any other podcasts that you are generally on?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, good.
You might have heard of the Grand Prix podcast.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. It's me and Elton. We do this, but talking about Formula One. Usually a lot more sweary.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And we've been told off about that as well. But, screw that loser.
Exactly. But still, you know what? It's if you like Formula One, if you don't like Formula One and just want to listen to us rant about stuff, give it a go. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's on Roku Media and iTunes and all those places. Look, you're grown adults. You know how to use Google. Just search for it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. And you can also catch me on Space Doc Jury with Lee Metcalf and Reverend Peter Organ, where we talk about spaceships and stuff. And we just released an episode talking about the Orville, the Seth MacFarlane Star Trek homage comedy show thingy. Yeah, so
would I enjoy that?
I think you would.
Yeah,
I do think you would.
Okay, I might.
I would definitely say give the podcast a listen. See how you feel from that.
Okay, and that's the most recent one out, isn't it? That's
the one
Monday morning.
It just came out today on the 24th of September.
Sweet. Okay, that is my journey to work tomorrow sorted.
Huzzah!
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You can catch me on the Shonky Lab, which is shonkylab.com and rogue2media.com as well. The last episode we did was Old Men Shout at Clouds, Part 2. This is where myself and lots of my friends get together on the internet and we moan about general stuff. And that is what the Shouting at Clouds is all about. So if you pop over there, it's all in iTunes, it's on Stitcher, and all the other podcast related places that you want to find that stuff. So please pop along there. Feel free to give reviews as well. You can also catch me on the Black Dog Podcast, which is blackdogpodcast.com. And that is a film review show. The newest episode, which will be recorded on Tuesday, which doesn't mean anything to anyone listening to this in the future, would be Still Dawn. Mr. Patrick Swayze getting his thing on in the desert, which I saw maybe 20 minutes of it today. I don't know if that says anything about it, but, I could only last 20 minutes on that one. And I still need to watch the rest of that. That'll be later on. So, yeah, please pop along and check all these guys out as well. If you feel entitled, please pop along to iTunes and give this a review. We have a couple of 5-star reviews up there, so anything less, don't think about it, but, maybe 5 stars. Just give us a review. Let us know that you did it as well. Once again, if you have any feedback, rogue2media@gmail.com or pop along to the Facebook group and leave it on there as well. So until then, thank you very much, Andy, for joining me on this one. It's been excellent.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. And until we meet again in Why We Fight, thank you very much and goodbye. See ya.
Ta-ra.